there's something happening in emergency rooms around the world that doctors are seeing with unprecedented frequency. It's not a new virus, not a flu epidemic, not an outbreak of something contagious. It's something much quieter, much more everyday, and yet it's sending thousands of people over 50 to the ER every single day. The most worrying thing is that most of these people could have avoided it. In fact, many of them were at home doing something completely normal when suddenly everything changed. And when they arrived at the ER, the look of confusion and fear on their faces was always the same. They didn't understand how it had happened, they didn't know what had gone wrong, and many of them had been ignoring warning signs for weeks or even months. I've worked in healthcare for over 2 decades. I've seen medical trends evolve. I've seen disease patterns change. And I've seen certain problems that were once rare become increasingly common. And what's happening now in emergency rooms with people over 50 deserves our attention, because it's not something exotic or difficult to understand. It's something many of us do every day without thinking, and it's having far more serious consequences than we imagine. If you think this topic is important, like this video and subscribe to the channel so this information can reach more people who really need it. Every like, every subscription helps this message reach someone at risk who needs to hear this before it's too late. Welcome to this space. If you're new here, you should know that this place was created for men and women who want to stay strong, sharp, active, and independent after 50. And if you're already part of this community, thank you from the bottom of my heart for joining me again today, because the topic we'll be discussing in this video is, without exaggeration, one of the most important for protecting your health and independence. Now, before I show you the part that truly impacted me, the information that takes this topic to an incredible level of understanding, I have to mention something. Everything I'm sharing now about what's happening in emergency rooms and how to protect yourself is just a small sample of what we've compiled in our comprehensive health guide for this stage of life. We've created 4 volumes that address, in a practical and in-depth way, the fundamental pillars of aging with vitality. These are 101 natural remedies for everyday life, where you'll find simple solutions for everyday ailments, the ultimate longevity plan, which guides you step by step toward a longer, healthier life, the complete guide to heart and blood pressure, so you can take care of your main engine with clear strategies, and Men's Health After 50, Prostate Energy and Vitality, an indispensable resource for men who want to maintain their strength and well-being. There's a special offer available right now to access all these materials. You'll find the link in the description and a QR code on screen. That's the rest of the life-changing knowledge. But let's get back to the topic of emergencies, because what I'm about to tell you is the game changer. So what exactly are emergency rooms seeing more often after 50? The answer, in a word, is falls. But not just any kind of fall. We're talking about falls that happen in circumstances that wouldn't have been a problem before. Falls at home, getting out of bed, walking down a hallway, going downstairs, bending down to pick something up from the floor. Falls that 20 years ago that person would have effortlessly avoided, or from which they would have recovered without difficulty. But now those same falls are resulting in fractures, concussions, and life-altering hip injuries. The data is alarming. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, more than 1 in 4 people over the age of 65 experience a fall each year. And 1 in 5 falls results in a serious injury, such as a broken bone or a head injury. But what is really changing is the age of the people arriving at the emergency room after these falls. We are seeing more and more people in their 50s, people who don't consider themselves old, who don't feel frail, who lead active lives, but who suddenly find themselves in an emergency room after a fall they didn't see coming. And why is this happening? Why are falls increasing among younger and younger people? The answer is complex, but we can identify several factors that are contributing to this silent epidemic. The first and perhaps most important factor is the loss of muscle mass and strength, which begins much earlier than most people realize. Many assume muscle loss only happens after age 70, but the reality is that it starts in the 40s and accelerates after 50. This process, which scientists call sarcopenia, can lead to a loss of up to 3% of muscle mass per decade after age 30. And when muscles weaken, balance becomes less stable, the ability to react to a stumble decreases, and the risk of falling increases significantly. The second factor is the decline in bone density. Starting in the 50s, especially in women after menopause, bones begin to lose density at an accelerated rate. This means that when a fall occurs, the impact is much more likely to result in a fracture. And a fracture, especially a hip fracture, can be the beginning of a functional decline that changes a person's life forever. In fact, studies show that up to 25% of people over 65 who suffer a hip fracture die within a year of the injury. And of those who survive, many never fully regain their independence. The third factor is the effect of certain medications on balance and stability. Many people over 50 take medications for blood pressure, cholesterol, diabetes, anxiety, or sleep. And many of these medications can have side effects that affect balance, coordination, or blood pressure when standing up. Some medications can cause dizziness, drowsiness, or a sudden drop in blood pressure upon standing, increasing the risk of falls. The fourth factor, and this is one of the most underestimated, is the decline in vestibular and proprioceptive function. The vestibular system, located in the inner ear, is responsible for our sense of balance. And the proprioceptive system, which includes receptors in our muscles and joints, tells us where our body is in space. Both systems deteriorate with age, and when this happens, our sense of balance becomes less accurate. We may feel stable when we are not, and that makes us more prone to unexpected falls. The fifth factor, and perhaps the most concerning, is a sedentary lifestyle. People who spend long hours sitting, whether in front of the television, behind the wheel, or in an office, are losing strength and flexibility at an accelerated rate. Muscles that aren't used atrophy, joints become stiff, and balance deteriorates. And when they finally get up and move, their bodies aren't prepared for the demands placed upon them. Now, let me be very clear. Falls are not inevitable. They are not a natural consequence of aging. There are very specific things you can do to drastically reduce your risk of falling and maintain your independence for many more years. First and foremost is strength and balance training. This isn't about becoming an athlete. It's about incorporating specific movements that strengthen the muscles you need to stay stable. Resistance exercises such as standing up and sitting down from a chair, doing supported squats, or using resistance bands to strengthen your legs and glutes are essential. Balance exercises such as standing on one leg while brushing your teeth or walking in a straight line with your arms outstretched can also make a big difference. Second is reviewing your medications with your doctor. If you are taking any medication that may affect your balance or blood pressure, ask your doctor if there are alternatives, or if you can adjust the dosage. Don't stop taking any medication without consulting your doctor first, but having an open conversation about side effects is essential. Third is making your home a safer place. Falls happen more often at home than anywhere else. Remove loose rugs or rugs with folded edges that could be a tripping hazard. Secure electrical cords to the walls. Install grab bars in the bathroom and handrails on the stairs. Improve lighting in hallways and stairwells, especially at night. Small changes to your environment can significantly reduce the risk of falls. Fourth, pay attention to your footwear. Shoes with slippery soles, high heels, or sandals without support can increase the risk of falls. Choose shoes with non-slip soles that provide good arch support. And at home, consider wearing shoes or slippers with rubber soles instead of walking barefoot or in socks on slippery floors. Fifth, and perhaps most important, is to stay active overall. This isn't just about exercising, it's about moving throughout the day. Get up every hour if you've been sitting for a long time. Walk around the house, do some chores, go up and down stairs if you can. Every movement counts, and every movement strengthens your body and improves your balance. Now, I want to tell you about a patient I had a few years ago. Let's call him Roberto. Roberto was 58 years old when he came to my office after a fall in the emergency room. He had gotten up in the middle of the night to go to the bathroom, tripped over a loose rug in the hallway, and fallen, fracturing his wrist. It wasn't a hip fracture, but it was enough to scare him. Roberto was an active man. He worked in an office and walked regularly, but he hadn't given much thought to his balance or strength. He hadn't considered that his home could be a dangerous place, and he certainly hadn't considered that a fall could happen to him. After his fall, Roberto and I worked together on a plan. He started doing balance and strength exercises 3 times a week. He checked his home and eliminated tripping hazards. He bought shoes with better support, and within 6 months, he had not only regained confidence in his ability to move safely, but he felt stronger and more stable than he had in years. Roberto told me something I'll never forget. "Doctor, I never thought something as simple as a fall could change my life so much, but now I know I can do something about it, and that gives me peace of mind." Roberto's story isn't unique. I've seen hundreds of people like him, people who don't consider themselves at risk, who don't feel fragile, but who are just one step away from a fall that could change their lives. And what I've learned is that prevention is key. Don't wait for a fall to happen to start taking precautions. The best way to protect yourself is to act now, before it's too late. And I want to tell you something important. Don't be afraid to talk about this with your doctor or your family. Many people are ashamed to admit they've had falls or that they're afraid of falling, but fear is a sign that something needs attention. If you're afraid of falling, your body knows it, and that fear can make you move with less confidence, which in turn increases your risk of falling. Break that cycle by talking openly about your concerns. I also want to remind you that falls don't just affect the body, they affect the mind as well. The loss of confidence that accompanies a fall can lead to reduced activity, depression, and social isolation. And that reduced activity, in turn, further increases the risk of falls. It's a vicious cycle that can be difficult to break, but it can be prevented with simple measures. So here's my message for you today. Emergency rooms are seeing more falls in people over 50 than ever before, but you don't have to be one of those statistics. With the small changes to your daily routine, your home, and your approach to physical activity, you can dramatically reduce your risk of falling and maintain your independence for many more years. Don't wait for a fall to happen. Start today. Your body will thank you, your family will thank you, and your future self will thank you. If this video has helped you better understand this issue and how to protect yourself, please share it with someone you care about who could benefit from this information. Sometimes a small gesture like sharing a video can make a big difference in someone's life. And if you're not already subscribed to the channel, now is the perfect time to do so. We publish new, research-based content every week, designed specifically for people who refuse to accept that decline is inevitable. Now take a deep breath with me, relax your shoulders, and remember this. Your body is not fragile. Your body has an amazing capacity to adapt and strengthen itself when you give it the right tools. No matter your age, it's never too late to start taking care of yourself. Prevention is the most powerful medicine there is, and it's within your reach. If you've made it this far in the video, it's because you care about your health and want to live with more energy, greater independence, and a better quality of life. That's why in our comprehensive health guides, we share how nutrition, natural remedies, and simple habits can help you regain vitality, strengthen your body, improve memory, support circulation, and maintain your independence for longer, all with practical changes and easy-to-implement tips. Find our guides by clicking the link in the description and scanning the QR code on screen. 101 Natural Remedies for Everyday Life, the Ultimate Longevity Plan, the complete guide to heart and blood pressure and men's health after 50. Everything you need to take care of yourself at this important stage is just a click away. Now, I want to hear from you. In the comments, tell me, have you ever had a fall, Or do you know someone who has? What measures do you take to stay stable and safe at home? I love reading about your experiences and what changes you've tried. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like and share it with someone who could benefit from this information. Thank you for being here, for listening carefully, and for taking action for your health. An important note: all content in this video is for educational and informational purposes only. It does not constitute a medical diagnosis, does not replace consultation with your doctor, and should not be interpreted as a prescription for any treatment. Everyone is different. Your medical history, current medications, and individual circumstances are factors that only your doctor knows and can properly assess. Before making any significant lifestyle changes, always consult with a trusted healthcare professional. See you in the next video. Take good care of yourself.